The rain hammered against the windows of our Seattle home, mirroring the storm brewing inside me. Barnaby, a 46-year-old architect, had always considered myself a rational man, a man of logic and order. My life with my wife, Gretchen, had been built on that same foundation, or so I thought. We had been married for 15 years, a seemingly happy couple, settled into a comfortable routine. We had our struggles, of course, every couple does, but nothing that seemed insurmountable. Then came the email. It wasn't even meant for me. Gretchen had left her laptop open on the kitchen counter, a careless act that would unravel everything. A notification popped up, an email from someone named Kendrick. Curiosity, a dangerous emotion, got the better of me. I told myself it was just a quick glance, a harmless peek. But the subject line, "Thinking of you," and the sender's name set off alarm bells in my head. I clicked on it. "Gretchen, I can't stop thinking about last night. The way you looked at me, the way the rest of the email blurred as a cold wave washed over me. My hands started to tremble. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. This couldn't be real. Not Gretchen, not my Gretchen. I knew Kendrick. He was a landscape designer, someone we had hired a few months back to redesign our backyard. He was charming, yes, but I had dismissed it as just part of his personality. I had even liked the guy. We had bonded over a shared love of classic cars. I closed the laptop, my mind racing. I needed to be sure. This could be a misunderstanding, a cruel joke. I couldn't confront Gretchen without proof, without knowing the full extent of the betrayal. Over the next few days, I became a shadow, a ghost in my own home. I watched Gretchen, studied her every move, every word. She seemed normal, maybe a little more cheerful than usual. Was she putting on an act? Was she capable of such deception? I started checking her phone. I know it was wrong, a violation of her privacy, but I couldn't help myself. The suspicion was eating me alive. I found deleted text messages, cryptic conversations that hinted at something more than just a professional relationship with Kendrick. One evening, Gretchen told me she was going out for dinner with some girlfriends from her book club. I pretended to believe her, but I knew something was off. The book club hadn't met in months. My gut was screaming at me. I waited an hour after she left, then I got in my car and followed her. I felt like a character in a bad movie, a clique of a betrayed husband. But I couldn't stop myself. I had to know. I followed her to a small Italian restaurant on the other side of town. I parked across the street and watched as she walked inside. A few minutes later, Kendrick arrived. He walked in and they greeted each other with a hug that lingered a little too long, a hug that confirmed my worst fears. I sat there paralyzed, watching them through the window. They were laughing, talking, holding hands across the table. They looked like a couple, a happy couple, but it wasn't supposed to be them. It was supposed to be us. The rage started to build inside me, a burning inferno that threatened to consume me. I wanted to storm into the restaurant, to confront them, to expose their deceit. But I knew that would only make things worse. I needed to be smart, to think clearly, even though every fiber of my being was screaming for revenge. I drove home, my mind a whirlwind of emotions. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat in the dark, replaying the scene in the restaurant over and over in my head. The betrayal was so profound, so complete. It felt like my entire world had been shattered. The next morning, Gretchen came downstairs looking fresh and rested. She greeted me with a kiss that felt like a lie. I pulled away. "We need to talk," I said, my voice cold and hard. She looked at me, her eyes widening slightly. "About what?" she asked, her voice a little too innocent. "About Kendrick," I said, watching her reaction. Her face paled. "Kendrick? What about him? Don't play dumb, Gretchen. I know about the emails, the text messages, the dinner last night." She didn't say anything for a moment. She just stared at me, her eyes filled with fear. Then the tears started to flow. "Barnaby, I can explain," she stammered. "Explain what?" "Explain how you betrayed me. Explain how you lied to me for months." "It just happened," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "I didn't mean for it to happen, it just happened," I repeated, my voice rising. "You didn't mean for it to happen. You think that makes it okay. No, I know it's not okay. I'm so sorry, Barnaby. I love you. I don't want to lose you. You should have thought about that before you started sleeping with another man," I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. She broke down completely, sobbing uncontrollably. I watched her, my heart filled with a mixture of anger and sadness. I wanted to comfort her, to tell her that everything would be okay, but I couldn't. The trust was gone, shattered beyond repair. "I want you to leave," I said, my voice firm. "I want you out of this house, Barnaby. Please don't do this. We can work through this. We can go to therapy. There's nothing to work through, Gretchen. You destroyed everything. I want a divorce." She pleaded with me, begged me to reconsider, but my mind was made up. I couldn't stay with her, not after what she had done. The pain was too deep, the betrayal too profound. She finally left, packing a suitcase full of her clothes and her belongings. As she walked out the door, she turned and looked at me, her eyes filled with regret. "I'm so sorry, Barnaby," she said. "I'll always regret this." I didn't say anything. I just watched her go, my heart aching with a pain I had never known before. The divorce was messy and bitter. Gretchen fought me on everything, trying to get as much money as she could. I didn't care about the money. I just wanted to be free of her, to move on with my life. As I started to piece my life back together, I learned that Kendrick was not the upstanding guy I thought he was. He had a history of affairs, of preying on vulnerable women. He was a user, a manipulator, a con artist. I felt a sense of satisfaction knowing that Gretchen had fallen for such a despicable person. She deserved what she got, but it didn't ease the pain, didn't fill the void in my heart. One day, a few months after the divorce was finalized, I received a phone call from a woman named Meredith. She said she was Kendrick's wife, or rather, his soon-to-be ex-wife. She had found out about his affair with Gretchen and was divorcing him as well. Meredith and I met for coffee. We talked for hours, sharing our stories of betrayal and heartbreak. We found solace in each other's company, a shared understanding of the pain we had both endured. Over time, Meredith and I became close. We started spending more time together, going to movies, going for walks, just talking. We discovered that we had a lot in common, a shared sense of humor, a similar outlook on life. One evening, as we were sitting on my porch watching the sunset, Meredith turned to me and said, "Barnaby, I think I'm falling in love with you." I looked at her, my heart pounding in my chest. I had been so focused on the pain of the past, I hadn't even considered the possibility of a future. But as I looked into Meredith's eyes, I saw a glimmer of hope, a chance for happiness. "I think I'm falling in love with you too, Meredith," I said, reaching for her hand. We kissed, a soft, gentle kiss that sealed our connection. It wasn't the passionate, fiery kiss I had shared with Gretchen in the early days of our marriage. It was something deeper, something more meaningful. It was a kiss of hope, a kiss of healing, a kiss of new beginnings. Gretchen, on the other hand, didn't fare so well. Kendrick dumped her soon after his divorce, leaving her alone and penniless. She lost her job, her friends, her reputation. She became a pariah, a cautionary tale of what happens when you betray those who love you. I heard through the grapevine that she had moved to another state, trying to start over. I didn't feel any joy in her misfortune. I just felt a sense of sadness, a sadness for the woman she had once been, the woman I had once loved. Life is strange, isn't it? It throws you curveballs, tests your strength, breaks your heart. But it also offers opportunities for healing, for growth, for new beginnings. I never thought I would find love again after Gretchen's betrayal, but I did, and I am grateful for it. Meredith and I are now married. We have built a life together, a life based on trust, honesty, and mutual respect. We have learned from our past mistakes, and we are committed to making our relationship work. Betrayal is a devastating experience, one that can leave you scarred for life, but it doesn't have to define you. You can rise above it, you can heal, you can find happiness again. It takes time, it takes courage, it takes faith, but it is possible. And to those who are considering betraying the ones they love, think twice. The consequences can be devastating, not just for the person you betray, but for yourself as well. The grass is not always greener on the other side. Sometimes it's just a mirage, a fleeting illusion that can lead to a lifetime of regret.